And it is a great pleasure to introduce these tools to folks that are in job search that may not have heard of them. This is not in any particular order, but I think you'll find these pretty cool nonetheless. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing my screen and hope that I get it right because it doesn't always work as expected. So bear with me. If you can see my screen, you can see the website, the Muse. Give me a thumbs up. Yep. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Ben. So this one is about, as you can see, action verbs for your resume. And I'm going to copy this and put this in. Actually, I'm going to hope I can put this in chat. There we go. That works. So this is about action verbs to use in your resume. So anytime that you want to explain or communicate that you might have saved the company money, but don't quite have the framework for how to get that phrase started, here's a bullet list of starter words or adverbs that you can use to describe how that happened or increasing efficiency. And that's obviously quite a long list, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But this is a great tool that Renee shared on making sure that we start that resume with the right action verbs or phrasing that helps communicate the intent of what's behind the bullet. So this is a really cool, simple one for wordsmithing your resume.
Yeah, what I like about it, it's broken down by category. It's, I mean, there are, you know, how many on there, a couple hundred or something, but it's broken down by category so you can quickly find, what you were doing. If you know, like for project managers or finance people or marketing or, whatever, you can quickly go to that section and find those words. And then, we all know too, it's really important to quantify your achievements and, put dollar numbers in there, put percentages, that sort of thing. In addition to these action verbs is always very helpful to a hiring manager and HR person.
I think it's really great when you're looking for a substitute word, like when you're reading a job posting and it's, telling you what they're looking for, requirements, experience, especially, so you're, you don't have to, if you've already put that word, the same keyword that's in the job posting, if you already have that in your resume, and you're looking for another word because you've done something similar, but maybe for a different company, then this would also help.
There's my favorite section right there. You achieved something.
I love it.
Every resume should have some achievements.
Mm-hmm.
Even folks that don't have achievements have achievements. They just don't know it yet. So thanks, Renee, for sharing that one. And I'm not quite sure what this one is, but Mike Pavick, if you want to help us with this one, I'm not familiar with this one.
Yeah, so this is called levels.fyi. And what it is, one of the things that occurs when you are leaving the military is you really don't have an idea of what are the different levels within a company, what are those skill sets and what are the difference in payments. And so this is a website that actually breaks it down for a lot of different companies, particularly in the technology industry. So let's take a look. For example, let's go to a software development engineer level 3 under Amazon, or level 6. I'm sorry, level 6 on the left side, Alan.
Right here.
And then you click that. Yep. Should be able to click that, and it should pull up both salary information and some expectations. So on this particular one, it starts breaking down what is the salary, what is the additional compensation, particularly around stocks, and then what is the bonus. So within the tech industry, you're going to see the three as the three main forms of compensation that you're going to get. If you're going working with a startup, you're going to get a higher stock, a lower salary, and a higher stock compensation, et cetera, et cetera. Some of these, and you can go ahead and close that out. And then some of them, if I remember right, this also talks about some of the attributes as well. So if you scroll back up to the top, I might have to kind of dig around with it a little bit more to show that. But there's a whole bunch of resources on this to take a look at. So it's not just salaries. Salaries is kind of the number one thing, but it does talk about total comps as well. And also what's important about this is even to understand with doing negotiating process, a lot of times you don't ask, well, what level am I going to be going in? What's that promotion, plan look like? And they may say level 4, and you have no idea is it level 4 of 5 or is it level 4 of 45? And so this is a tool to kind of give you an idea of where that sits in some of these companies. And there's companies both large and small. The number of companies is pretty vast.
This is a pretty cool offer comparison value.
Yep. And there's another tool that I've been using lately. It's called Blind. It's a social network that where you get a lot of people from tech that talk about everything from the current layoffs going on, as well as another fun thing of job offers being rescinded in the
No, that's not it. What's it called?
because of as the economy starts to struggle more. I don't know if it's a website. It's Blind. It's an app.
Oh, what's the app called?
Just Blind, actually, I think. Hang on a second. I'll pull it up on Google Play and then share that link as well. So I use those a lot just to kind of get a pulse for what's going on in the different industries. The levels FYI is really kind of good for when you start talking about with some of the tech companies, and particularly, especially if you're talking with some of the Minnesota tech companies, and they're in a tougher spot because they can't necessarily compete with East and West Coast companies. So, but it gives you an idea of kind of where that compensation lies, and then there's pros and cons to each as well. So I'm throwing in a link in the chat for Blind. And it is not a perfect one. There's a high level of emphasis on compensation. So you take it all with a grain of salt, but it is good just to see what's going on. And I found it particularly interesting with the job rescinding, as well as people that are going through the interview process for, say, Amazon or Apple. They're talking about tips to get in with these companies, but also to even like it's normal to have delay in getting the final offer, or it's not normal. So there's a lot of interesting information there.
That's cool. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Okay. So there's another one that you shared, which is Glassdoor.
Yep, and Glassdoor is kind of more common one that we've discussed in the past, but let's actually take a little bit of time. So there's Glassdoor is a website that has a lot of information about different companies, including reviews, current jobs. It can be broken down by company, broken down by jobs, broken down by salaries. It's been around a little bit longer, I think. On the review side of the house, it's kind of like any of these other websites that do aggregated reviews, that you're going to get a lot of voices that are angry at their job, and so there may be a outsized voice on some of those, but it gives you a nice idea of, okay, where is this company trending on. What's really handy is if you go to their jobs right there, you can actually then go search on the job titles, and so you can get an idea of what that job pays. So if you wanted to be, say, a project manager at H.B. Fuller, for example, you could take a look and kind of see where they generally lie. And as far as the salaries go for those companies. unlike levels FYI, it doesn't go into a lot of detail on what level that is. So you could have 4 levels of senior project manager as an example, and it's going to talk about maybe 1. But it's still good information, and there's a lot of linkages now to job offers, maybe job offers, job positions and openings. On the company review side of the house, it really talks about, there's a couple questions they ask, like, do you approve of the CEO, pros and cons? And they also talk about the interview process as well. So you can see some tips for the interviews, as well as people rated based off of the difficulty they felt on the review process or interview process.
All right, thanks, buddy. You also mentioned how much you hate ONET Online. No, I'm just kidding. You also mentioned the difference between that and ONET Online.
Yeah, so ONET Online is, I honestly don't use it as much. There's a lot of information there, but for me, the interface is a little bit more difficult to use. And a lot of the positions that I'm looking for may or may not be there on the occupation search, or especially when I'm trying to do comparisons of salaries. Like, for example, when I put in product manager, I can't find my own job on ONET. So that kind of leads me to not using it as often. But what ONET does well is, and actually it's right this screen right here, where it starts to list some of the skill sets, the KSAs that are needed for a lot of these jobs. So for me, that's the strength of ONET there. And they also have to have a nice aggregated salary distribution for the local areas, generally, if you can find your job.
Where is that? Is that towards the bottom here? I thought it was towards the bottom.
I can't.
Oh, there it is. Right here.
Yep. So each one of these tools has their pros and cons to them, and we've talked about 4 levels: FYI, Glassdoor, Blind, the app, as well as ONET.
Awesome.
I
And
use
this is,
I was going to say I use ONET all the time, but I'm not dependent on ONET for wage and salary information, just because what they have on there for, well, especially if you're looking for a job in Minnesota, it's not that up to date. If you're looking for something more up to date, you should probably be going to Deed Career and Education Explorer, because that gets updated twice a year. And I think it just got updated last month in May. So that really is my go-to for wage and salary information for labor market, basically labor market information for jobs in Minnesota. I really wouldn't go anywhere else.
let's see, as we, are they gonna have it? Nope. Okay.
I did a presentation on that about a
Purchasing,
year ago, was it, that I
Yeah.
did my first one? Yeah.
Did this, well, apparently I'm not able to make it work. So
But
that
you have
demo
to,
didn't work very well. We'll have to go
you have
back to the
s-
video on that one.
yeah, there you go. Go back to the video.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And this is another one that Mike mentioned, and I found this one helpful as well. This is Acing the interview tool. So how many of you are maybe thinking about or struggling with how to answer questions in an interview? Like, tell me about yourself. How many times have you boffed that question? Right? Well, I was born a small child. No. No. Right. So I don't like this URL here. I'm gonna see if I can Google it and find in LinkedIn.
While you're looking up that, you know, the thing with that, the LinkedIn common questions is you really will run across these questions in almost every interview that you do. I know the ones that we do at my company. In fact, I'm getting ready to do a situational assessment of a candidate, and we have several of the questions that you could find in here.
That's a great tool to use. Just
And
remember
so
that
you
if
just
you're gonna,
take the time.
sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, what I was gonna say was, this allows you to take the time and think through the questions first for yourself, and then compare how your answers are to others, and it gives you an idea to kind of gauge it. To me, this is kind of this is kind of a mandatory part of preparing for your interview, but not just your interview, but even for your networking as well. I'm sorry, go ahead, Rebecca.
Thank you. No, I was just gonna say that in order to see all these questions, you're gonna have to have a premium account, just so you know. Because I didn't know that until one of my veterans pointed it out to me. And he's like, I can't see all those questions. He's like, it's telling me I need a premium account. I'm like, well, do you have one? No, why not? But yeah,
Yes,
you need a
free for
premium.
veterans.
Yeah, you need
Free.
a premium account to see all the questions and the answers. So, and if you're a veteran, you can get a premium account for free for 1 year.
And I'm gonna actually
will
put a
you-
link to
Yeah.
that in there. So I just
Thank
threw it
you.
up. There's a link that you can go to. And honestly, it's a year, but honestly, you can renew that too quite often.
I did it twice. I know it's true. Mike's right. You can renew if you've already had it for 1 year and it expired. You can renew it, and they're
I
not
think
gonna
Randy's
know the
been doing that
difference.
for years.
Yeah, I didn't know until I tried it myself. I'm like, oh, it actually works.
I've done it many times too, so you're right.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm
My-
fighting a little bit with my screen share, but here's another one that Mike shared that I haven't heard of. And so I am not familiar with this at all. Product school.
Okay, yeah, and this one's real specific for product managers, but there's actually a lot of equivalent sites like this out there. So say you're kind of curious, what does a product manager do? What a project manager, for this sake, we'll talk product manager. This lists a number of, they have a ton of videos on job interviews for product managers, roles and responsibilities, what's the difference between a junior product manager and a principal product manager, or a director of product, or a chief product officer. There's actually, Alan, could you actually go back to scroll to the left a little bit? Nope, right there. There's actually a great book there called Hired that I've actually given to people that are interested in getting product manager jobs, or kind of curious about that as well. So this is a really good resource. They actually have also a quarterly product conference where they called ProductCon, where they talk about all things that affect product managers. And this is an example of, as you're doing career exploration and you want to know more about what does that job position do, a resource like this is very, very helpful, because just by spending some time on this, I can get a feel for what's expected out of a product manager, as well as how to prepare for the interview. Because we got both the common questions that we just talked about on the LinkedIn thing, and then the specific questions that are going to be related to your specific job. And so it's kind of a nice balance.
Anything else that you want to say about this one?
No.
Cool. All right, well then let's move on to his last suggestion. Apprenticeship Minnesota.
I just had a lot of good ideas, right?
Be an apprentice.
So I love this, and we've actually had candidates use this program to kind of get started into their fields. There's a number of different apprenticeships within the state of Minnesota, everything from construction to IT, and so especially if you're looking, some of it's entry level, some of it's mid-level. But depending on your background, this is a great place to get started. So say you don't have any experience in a certain career field, You have a lot of the general skills that we all have as vets, but you don't have the specifics that qualify you. An apprenticeship is a great way to get started, to do some exploration of that career field and that position, as well as it's a lot of the job offers after the fact. Apprenticeships are across the state of Minnesota, so even if you're in northern or southern Minnesota, there may be an apprenticeship that's available for you. And it's also, like I talked about, both construction, IT, medical. It's just a really, really vast array, and it's constantly changing too. So it's one of those websites that you can check back often. And even as you're helping other veterans in their transition, this is a good place to start.
Is there a particular fun or unique job that you found on this when helping someone?
I'm sorry, a particular what?
A particular fun or unique job that you saw when you were helping somebody?
Yeah, so I
use
was
this?
helping one candidate, and he was struggling getting into the IT industry. And he had just kind of gotten out of his boot camp, didn't have a lot of experience, didn't have a lot of big projects that he could show about what he could do. And so we actually connected him with one of the apprenticeships out of here, and that led to a job for a while.
Very cool.
And the DOL
Fantastic.
is adding new programs all the time. They have some crazy lever that keeps promoting it to all these businesses.
That's neat.
And by
This
the
is
way,
quite
I
a
put
list.
the PDF in the chat about apprenticeships from the DOL. Well, that's the program I'm marketing to the businesses.
So, so that's really a great tool for when people say, I don't have the experience. Here's where you can get the experience. So I need to mention this tool a lot more to people as well. So thanks for sharing those, Mike.
Yeah, but if you go, you can sort it by, and if you go to the top of that one, you can sort it by occupation or by location, or so there's lots of ways to kind of narrow and filter the database there. Yeah, I was just amazed by just the array of positions. It's freaking huge.
What's a car man? Oh, there isn't one. Maybe it's car person. Collator? Okay. Cupola tender? I don't think that's gonna be one. I just gotta see. Nope. Okay. But cosmetology? Nope, nothing. Stephen, you got some promoting to do. So,
Well,
yes,
I was just talking to a business yesterday about the program. So, and
love
they're a manufacturing company.
marble finisher.
One of the really cool things about the DOL's program is if a company has their jobs in this program, that automatically guarantees that veterans will get Minnesota GI Bill funds for any of the training materials that they would have to pay for themselves.
Roofer. There we go. Lots of roofers.
You see where it says roofers 96. That's
St. Cloud?
that's a union.
Yeah.
A lot of
Roofers
times
local.
with those trade, those trade jobs, you would have to get in through a union. Which
And
some
we
people
have
don't.
a really good contact with the union, who is a veteran, the helmets to hard hats.
Right. Yep. Justin Rust.
Yes.
Yep. That's a good program.
Yep. So any veteran He will help them get into the union even when the union is closed. Because they're still open to veterans.
Oh, cool.
So we have a lot of ins with these different organizations. It hasn't Justin used to come to Eagle Group when we had
The
the
monthly meetings.
in-person.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, he used to come to the monthly meetings.
Yeah. Maybe I should see if he'd be willing to present on a Tuesday night.
We'd love to have him. So that's that tool. And then Mike, Oren, do you have that template up and ready to go? Can you do you have something we can share screen, or can you post that in the chat?
Yeah, I can share the screen for the, I was gonna do the marketing plan.
Oh, yeah.
I also have
Let me
one.
stop
for
sharing.
that template, yeah, let's see if it works. Bring it up.
This is impressive, guys. You guys are going to want to see this. It was designed by committee. No, I'm just kidding. It was it was designed by a fellow Eagle Group member and a veteran.
So this is not, I also have the template for the 20-minute networking one, but this is one, I guess, back when you had business cards and you want to explain a little more than that, and you don't want to give them your resume. This is one you could do too, where it has your contact information, saying what you're seeking. You know, they go, oh, test lead, I don't know what that is, or I don't know anybody who's a test lead, and then go down here and say other titles, QA, test manager, senior test engineer, and they go, oh yeah, I know somebody in QA. So you can do that, and then just an overview of your technical experience, and then your market that you're looking for. So just Twin Cities, okay, industry, you know, for IT, it's less important than location for me anyhow. And then large companies with established shops, and then the culture I'm looking for. You know, we always emphasize that sometimes.
Yeah.
You can add in there, do they have a employee group for veterans or things like that. And then a lot of times you're talking to somebody and you go, hey, I'm looking for Target. And they're like, I don't know anybody at Target. And then they're done with you. And it's like, well, no, wait a second. You know, here's 20 other companies I have. And, you know, they may know somebody in one of those companies or have some kind of referral for that. So this is one for using. It's easier now with you can email it to people or whatever if they don't want to go through your resume or don't have too many details for that. I think I have a template too for,
Yeah, there it is.
make it smaller. So I don't have it filled out because I want to have it, you know, I'm not sure I want to share it or whatever on the online here, but so basically, you know, the name of the person you're meeting with, where, date, time, any pertinent information, who recommended you, and any common contacts you have. That gives you a lot of common things to talk about with them. You know, it's not just a cold start. And then you do your quick overview, and it can be a minute, but it can also be less depending on you know, what the idea is. Some people say even less, then you want to get it right away. And then you have your questions ahead of time. You know, you've told them, you know, I want to be 20 minutes, so I'm prepared, and you can even share this sheet with them and go one by one what you are looking for your question, and then you can write down your answers. You know, I know one of the ones you've always said sometimes too is you know, what's the culture of the company? You're not asking for a job, things like that, because, you know, they'd probably answer, I don't have a job, so, or send you to the website. And that's not what this is about. You're just trying to learn a few things of what's going on. And then you have those first three questions, and then you have your question. The main one is to get more contacts. Is there someone else, you know, in whatever thing I'm looking for that I should talk to? And you know, a lot of times they'll think about it and give you a name or get back to you. And then the last one is, you know, you've been helpful to me. How can I help you? You know, and you may not think of that sometimes, but even you can help people. You know, they might be looking for a skill you don't have, or someone with that. So it's always, you have a network too. It can go both ways. And then you just wrap it up, and then make sure you follow up within 24 hours of that. So, yeah, and this
Love it.
coincides with the book. Yep. So,
Very cool.
questions? All right. Stop.
I like it.
Yep.
Is there an echo?
Is it me? Because I'm not muted.
Let me see. Mike, you need to upgrade your internet.
I think he
Okay,
knows
good. I was
that.
afraid of, I was afraid I was gonna have to log out. So,
Okay, I'll go mute.
Mike, you're a great tester. It works in real time too. Thanks, man. All right, so let me share my screen for the last resource that I have that I found. It's my new favorite. So this one I found is actually very helpful. And I'll explain why here. So this is called skillsinker.com. And if you reach out to, I believe it's email military@skillsinker.com. Don't quote me, look on the website to be sure. They've got a free military offering. But one of the things that I found in working with job seeking veterans, when I go to refer them, their resume doesn't match the job posting. And so I tell them, you might want to make your resume match the job posting. Well, it can be difficult to make that point without some objective, exactly what needs to change and how will I know when it's gotten there, right? And so this tool will help you. So as you can see, it gives you a ranking of where your resume sits in comparison to the job posting. So you paste up the job posting, you paste up your resume, and it crunches it. But I want to show you this. So what I'll do is I'll take your resume. If you ask me for a referral to a job, I'll take your resume and the job posting and do this. And if it hits 31%, I'll invite you to rethink your resume, right? But this is a powerful tool to help you decide if your resume is going to get you an interview or not. So a referral can only carry you so far. I can make sure they see your resume. You have to make sure that your resume is worth seeing. And so as you can see, this will give you objective feedback on the hard skills you're missing, soft skills you're missing, other keywords, and job title match. So like right here, right? The job title program manager was not found in your resume. So are you a project manager or aren't you? I don't know. Where is it on your resume? So it gives you a great summary, and it tells you exactly where you are hitting it and where you aren't. And so it gives you a great actionable plan. And you can see, obviously, this one's 35%, so it's a lot of actions to take. But we've got some videos on how to actually improve your resume on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and then search for Eagle Group of Minnesota Veterans, look at that. I do that a lot. Click on that. And I'm going to pause this because it always plays. You can look through the videos and playlists to find videos that are relevant to your needs that have been done on this training session and in the monthly meeting by Eagle Group. So this is a powerful resource for you if you are in search of job advice and there's no Tuesday meeting available to you because it's Wednesday or Thursday. These are the recordings of all the presentations that we've done over the last 2 years. So thanks to COVID, we now have a resource for you. So I'm going to stop the recording at this point, and then we'll leave time for QA and any feedback points or any other tools that people want to share. So let me stop the recording and thank everyone for your patience and listening.